We've got some cheaters whose stories got exposed on the internet. That is one place you don't want your story getting to. We'd been together for 9 years and I ended up finding him on 10 plus dating apps / websites under 7 plus different names. Who has the time for this? He tried to say it wasn't him as I looked at a picture of his face wearing a shirt my mom bought him for Christmas. He thought I was gullible. Not gullible enough, buddy. No, he thought you were stupid. Oh man, it's hilarious. Not for you. That's very sad. But I hope you can kind of laugh at it now with how ridiculous he was to think he'd get away with that. I was in a long-term relationship with my boyfriend and we were living together when I found out we were expecting a baby. The night before my first prenatal appointment, he went out to celebrate with his friends. His phone was off all night and I was super worried. He showed up at the doctor's office on time, but was reeking of alcohol and covered in hickeys. I broke up with him right after the appointment. Well, that's one way to celebrate the news that your girlfriend is pregnant. Thank you so much. I can't wait to tell our child that one day. You wanna know what happened on the night that we found out we were having you? Your father cheated on me. Wonderful. I found Viagra tablets in my husband's drawer. I was shocked. One packet had been taken already and one was full. I was running late for work, so thought I would speak to him when I got back. I got home after work and found that he'd taken 2 tablets while I was in the office. I asked him about it and he lied to my face 3 times. Not once, but 3. The next day I checked his phone and the day he took those tablets, he had taken an Uber 45 minutes away from the house. He had told me he was working from home all day that day. He had so many opportunities to just tell the truth. I mean, he's not very stealth either. Like the fact that he just left them in his drawer. I was the cheater. Oh, we've got a cheater in the chat. Okay, this is the different perspective. I had been with the same guy for 4 years and it wasn't going anywhere, but I had a very bad feeling that he wasn't going to let me out of the relationship without a good reason. I had tried many times before to break it off, but he always came back, saying he'd changed, and I stupidly took him back and believed him. He never did change, but I had. I wanted out. So I cheated and told him the next day what I'd done. He broke it off, crying and screaming at me that I was a blank. I haven't seen him since. That is an interesting tactic to end a relationship. Someone can always come back, but it's about if you allow them to come back. I'd been living with my girlfriend in New York City for a few months, and we had a routine of attending separate gyms each morning and then meeting up for coffee / breakfast on Saturday. That literally sounds like a dream. This particular time, she left for the gym first, which was unusual. She said she had an early session with her trainer. She left me a list of chores that needed to be done before I left for my gym. I'm hyper-focused, so I finished them quickly and then left for the gym. As I got to the lobby of our 6th floor walk-up, she was standing outside the front doors kissing the gay male neighbor that she regularly had lunch with. Lunch was always happening because he needed advice on being gay, and since she was a lesbian, apparently she was the perfect one to provide advice. I opened the doors and said, "Looks like a good workout," and left. I packed my bags and left on the train and never saw her again after almost 2 years together. Oh my God, this is not the ending I wanted, and I didn't know what to expect since we're checking out cheater stories, but it just sounded so cute in the beginning. My boyfriend of 2 years cheated on me with his friend. I suspected something towards the end, and friends even told me they thought something was up with them because he was always on her Instagram. I don't have Instagram. So I confronted him many times and he denied it. Then he said he needed a break from us. So after 2 weeks of being ignored, he started seeing the girl officially. He never even formally broke up with me. I also found out he did cheat on me with the girl towards the end of our relationship. Then, about a week after that, the girl showed up at my work to yell at me for sticking my nose into their relationship and called me crazy. Excuse me? What? She and my boyfriend were sleeping with each other for 2 months before we broke up, and that was apparently none of my business. It's pretty obvious that he was just lying to both of you, and he had full-out relationships with both of you, and probably told each of you that that person was crazy. That's how it always goes. My best friend, also married, and I went for a night on the town and ended up hanging out with a male friend of hers and his roommate since he offered to DD for us. At the end of the night, we went back to their place for drinking games. The sober roommate ended up going to bed, and the rest of us piled into bed and had a 3-person party. We were all pretty intoxicated and never spoke about it again. Thank you for sharing. I hope you were this honest with your partners. My gut told me to Google my partner of 2 years. Oh, ooh, I'm scared. Once I did, their name and a cheater blog popped as the first hit and had been updated 2 weeks prior. I clicked the link to find photos of an online conversation between 2 women arguing over my boyfriend. Their profile photos and full names were on the pictures, and I looked them up on Facebook. I didn't confront them, but I confronted him. He just said, "Why are you Googling me?" in hopes of making me the bad guy. Of course. It's called manipulating and being a narcissist. And they try to make it look as if you did something wrong. 5 years into our relationship, my boyfriend decided to go on an extended backpacking trip after getting his degree at 25. Good for you. I stayed home and worked for a few months, and we planned to reunite in Paris and spend a month exploring the city of love. This is not gonna end well. I didn't find out until I got to Paris that he was in a full-blown relationship with another girl in England, even though we were still FaceTiming romantically every day, and he would not be joining me in Paris. I spent that month exploring the city alone, drinking wine and crying. Oh my God. I'm happy you still went to Paris. I understand you were crying, but drinking wine and crying in Paris, like I would rather drink wine and cry in Paris than drink wine and cry in my condo in Toronto. We were together 17 years, holy moly, married for 9 and had 3 kids together. We went on holiday and he spent hours locked in the bathroom with his phone. I accused him of cheating and he told me I was paranoid and psycho and he didn't want to be with me anymore. We got home and he moved out. A couple days later, a phone bill arrived and he had spent £300 calling the same number while we were away. That's when he finally admitted that he was having an affair with a woman he'd met on Facebook. Always trust your gut. I need to know, someone tell me, be honest, when has your gut ever been wrong? Anytime I have ever suspected or felt this feeling in my gut, it was always right. I knew this guy from back in high school. We ended up living in the same town together and became good friends. I had a crush on him, but he wasn't interested in me that way. We lost touch for a while, but reconnected over Skype work calls when we had the same employer. He was just about to get married. Suddenly, he became really flirty. Our conversations gradually turned intimate. We ended up having intimacy a couple months later after he got married and continued off and on for a couple years. It worked for me because it was safe for me and I wasn't going to get hurt because I knew he loved his, I knew he loved his wife. The guilt ate away at me though. I used to be the one married to someone who had a secret life. I got divorced when my husband came out of the closet. Oh my God. You cannot tell me that you love me and cheat on me. That's not love. And you know what? If that is the love that you can provide for me, I don't want it. We were together for 5 years and finally got engaged. During the wedding planning, he started getting all stressed, saying it was too soon, so we called the wedding off. Then he kept going to hang out with his mom's friend, smoking some with her, which was fine with me since I don't smoke. Something was bugging me though, so when he told me he was going to hang out with her and went for a shower first, I opened his phone and saw her say, "I love you," and him say, "I love you too, babe." I threw his phone at him in the shower and made him move out that night. I'm so much better off now. His mom's friend? And you were supposed to marry this man? Oh my God. What a plot twist. What did your mom say? Well, not your mom. What did his mom say? I was with my boyfriend for almost 5 years before I had actual proof of him cheating on me. We were long distance for the first few years, and then he moved from California to New York for me. I had some suspicions along the way, but nothing too striking. We had talked about getting married all the time, so one day when he suddenly became against it, I knew something was up. I never looked through his phone, but one night I had a strange feeling, so I looked through it while he was asleep. I found texts going back months to this girl I sort of knew, talking about ravaging their bodies and making plans to meet up. He denied everything and said it was only emotional and never physical. I hate that whole thing, how it's like,
emotional cheating is not a thing.
give me a break. You should probably be single. Then you can flirt with whoever you want. Go ravage your body with anyone you want. After 2 years of dating my ex, we started having a lot of issues in our relationship. It became really clear to me that we were simply not a good match, but I still felt like maybe we could work things out. My coworker, who was always a great friend to me, became sort of a confidant, giving me advice and talking through some things with me when my ex and I would fight. He'd even grab a drink with me after work when I was upset. Even though it started out totally platonic on both of our ends, I realized after a couple of months that I was developing feelings for him. One night after getting drinks, we hooked up and I ended things with my ex about a week later. The hookup was something that opened my eyes to how little I was invested in making my relationship work. I'm not proud of cheating on my ex, but I don't think that this sort of thing should be vilified as much as it is. You literally described what happened in one of my past relationships, but I was the one being cheated on. So, that being said, I disagree with the last statement because I'm on the other end of it, obviously. But I do understand that people and humans can make mistakes 1000%. I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut on this one. We'd been dating for a year and he said he had to go out of town to help his sick Nana, and I knew for a fact she was sick. We didn't talk much while he was away, and he said it was because he didn't have good service at her house. I was hanging out with mutual friends, including some of his family, and the vibe was off. Finally, his brother sat me down and told me it was their mom who was taking care of their Nana, and that my boyfriend had been spending the week with his ex who was in town. I immediately went to his place and grabbed all of my things. I'm glad it happened though, because he was seriously not a good person, aggressive, and I was too afraid to leave him before that. Okay, well, blessing in disguise. But also the brother ratted out his own brother. Look at that. But needed to happen, and I'm glad that you are better off, sister. All right, guys, we got some cheaters who got exposed. Feel free to expose any cheating stories you have, and give me your opinion on the situations that we just discussed. And I'm getting out of here. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and be loyal or be single. Bye.